Happy New Year, everyone. This is Tracy here to give you another view from Tracy's Point. And the latest installment comes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 8, season 9, entitled Bosom Buddies. This episode really made me want to reevaluate my friendships and solidifies why I don't hang with a bunch of women. Are these women in their late 30s and early 40s, or are they still in high school? I mean, I'm just curious. Also, like, are you team Kandi or are you team Phaedra? Leave your comments below because I kind of like to know where we fall on that spectrum. So let's get started. Cynthia plans I'm going to call it a breast rejuvenation party because I did miss like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the show. And she's unaware that Phaedra and Kandi had met the day before, so she's invited everybody to come to the party. And so the first ones to arrive are Kandi and Kenya. And for some reason, Kandi feels the need to fill the ladies in on the lunch that she had with Phaedra and how, she got everything off her chest and said everything that she ever wanted to say to Phaedra. Don't really know. Yeah, I do know. It's kind of like back in high school when you want to get everybody on your team, on your side. And so, she wants to let everybody know, her side of the story first. So the rest of the ladies arrive, and I believe Phaedra was the last one to come in. And so she comes in and she greets everyone individually. She gives them like a little hug and a kiss on the cheek and tell them, she's happy to see them. And so I'm thinking if it was me and I was pissed off with Phaedra, when she came to me, I wouldn't have even gotten up out of the chair. I just would have looked at her and let her know to go on to the next person. But Kandi got up, being fake and phony, and she hugs Phaedra and tells her that, she's happy to see her. And so I'm thinking, she's always complaining about Phaedra being fake, but then she plays along with her, which kind of like lets Phaedra think that, her behavior is okay if it is offensive to Kandi. So an employee from the doctor's office where they're at, she comes and she gets the ladies and she takes them to the back. And so they're like in this room that has like I guess you would call it like a silicone breast implant showroom, because they had like the little fake boobs all on display, and I think it was like in purples and turquoise, and it was like a nice little setting that they had going on there. And so when the doctor comes in, Cynthia lets him know that these are all her friends and everything, and they've come to support her. And she tells the doctor that she wants to put him to the test and ask him to point out which of the ladies in the room he thinks have had breast implants. And so Kandi says that at least 4 of the women that she knows of have had boob jobs. And so, she wants to see how good the doctor is. And so the doctor first goes to Portia, and, Portia doesn't deny it. She says, yeah, I've had some work done. And then next he goes to Kenya, but Kenya's denying that she's had any breast augmentation done, and that she, is all woman, all natural. But I don't think the doctor nor the women in the room were believing her when she was saying that, because she kind of like protested much. So I thought it was kind of odd, but Kandi comes over and she wants to touch Cynthia's boobs, and she doesn't just touch them, she like grabs them and squeezes them and everything. And so all the women, to be honest with you, seemed a little too happy to be in that room watching Cynthia disrobe and show her boobs off. And so as they're going through the consultation, the doctor tells Cynthia that he can feel some hardening, because I guess she already has implants and she wanted to get them redone or touched up or something. And so he tells her that he can feel some hardness in one of the breasts. And so she kind of talks about that, and if it's okay to leave the implants that she has inside. And he says, yeah, but you want to keep an eye on it, in case soreness or anything. I think she may already be feeling soreness, but he tells her if it continues to increase, then she wants to do something about it. So after it's all said and done, Cynthia says that she thinks she'll put it on the back burner and focus on, getting into her house and getting her house set up. And I'm thinking, what was the point of this whole party? Like, is it just to have something to do? Is it just, like, I'm starting to wonder if these businesses come to the show and ask the show if they can, like do like a sponsorship. Like, if is the whole thing about product placement, and that's why they end up doing these crazy things. Because I'm telling you, if one of my friends wants to have a boob job, she'll be going by herself, because I ain't going in there with her. So the next scene, we have Sheree, and she's at her house, Chateau Sheree, and she lets us know that her move-in date has passed. So I think when the season first started, she said that she would be in about 5 weeks. So now we know that more than 5 weeks have passed with the taping of the show. And so she's waiting for her interior designer to show up. And I believe his name is Michelle, or yeah, I think she kept saying Michelle. And so Sheree says she wants to have real furniture in her house, before she does her housewarming, and not stage furniture from IKEA, which is a jab at Kenya. And so Michelle is showing her some pictures of the things that he selected for the house. And so we have a Chaz lounge that was like, I think the thing said $3,995, and then there was an accent chair that was like $5,600. And Sheree is saying that he's already $100,000 over budget, which I don't understand, because there was no furniture in that house. So she has the potential to scale it back and get him back into budget if the things he's showing her, she already feels are going to take her out of her price range. And I'm just wondering, how much money is Sheree actually making on this show that she is about to put over $100,000 worth of furniture into this house? But anyway, let's move on. So next we go to Kandi and Mama Joyce, and they're shopping for diamond stud earrings for Riley. I think she says it's her 14th birthday. And so Kandi uses the moment to tell Mama Joyce, that she met with Phaedra, and was surprised that Phaedra wanted to talk about Mama Joyce's comments at the food tasting. And so then once again, she starts bragging about how, she told Phaedra everything that she ever wanted to say to her. She got it off her chest. And of course, Mama Joyce is co-signing. And it's basically like, I'm glad you told her, because now she know you ain't no pushover. And anyway, we're going to move on and be adult about this, I hope. So anyway, Mama Joyce was there for it. And I couldn't help but think, like, just trying to picture me going to my mother and revealing some of this BS that's going on, and actually having my mother co-sign it and not tell me if I go take my grown behind somewhere and sit down and act my age and not my shoe size. But Mama Joyce is there for it all. So while they're at the jewelry store, Kandi also shares with Mama Joyce that Block wants to meet with Riley. And of course, Mama Joyce is more concerned about the back child support than she is about what this could mean for Riley. And, will it have a good impact on her if she finally builds a relationship with her father? So Mama Joyce, Mama Joyce, Mama Joyce. I just don't know what to say about you. And so over at Cynthia's house, Noelle says that she wants to talk to Peter, and she's saying, that she misses Peter. And I missed most of the conversation because I was trying to figure out why Cynthia had that big ass picture of Peter still hanging on her wall, because I'm thinking, if our relationship is over even before we got to the divorce, any reminders of you would have been out of my house. But Cynthia still has, it's like a 20 by 24 enlarged photo of Peter sitting on the wall. And I mean, it's a nice picture, but it would have to come down off my wall. Then in the next scene, we have Peter and Noelle, and they've gone to one of those like heated yoga classes. And was it me, y'all? But did Peter pass gas in that class? Like, was that him, anyway, let's move on. And so I thought that the whole, their meetup was cute, and him willing to do the yoga with Noelle, that was nice, because I think Peter, he was in there clowning, and at one point I think he may have fallen asleep when they were doing the relaxation part. And so afterwards, they get caught up on the fact that, Noelle is now the face of Cynthia's new, the bags, what's it called? I have the worst memory, but whatever her handbag, luggage bag, product line is, Noelle was letting him know, she had done her first photo shoot, and Peter was saying, how he wished he had known about it. And so I think it's nice that Noelle wants to maintain her relationship with Peter. And she shares with him that, she was hurt that Peter didn't call her and let her know, that him and Cynthia were getting a divorce. And, Peter was saying that, well, I thought your mom was going to tell you. And Noelle said, well, she did tell me, but I would have liked to have had you come to me also and tell me, and I thought that was really important and it made sense because, like she's probably getting Cynthia's version of everything that's happening. And I think that, if she wants to maintain a relationship with Peter, that, she has to get like his side, not, detailed and in depth, but just basically know how he's feeling and where he stands with everything. And I think it's probably common in divorces where there is stepchildren involved that if the relationship breaks up, then the parent, either the stepfather or the stepmom, they just move on and go about their business. And I think it takes a concerted effort, to keep that bond together because like Noelle said, Peter has been in her life since she was 8 years old. And so, he's like a father to her as well as, her biological father, which is Leon. So I did like that interaction between them and the fact that Cynthia was okay with her going to meet with Peter. And and I really think that Peter and Cynthia need to have a discussion on how to maintain his relationship with Noelle and still respect the boundaries of their divorce. Okay, so moving on, and let's get back to this product placement theory that I have. So now we have Portia, and she's at some place that does, I think she called it a yummy egg or yanni egg. I think she said a yanni egg, but basically you stick this egg up in your vagina and then you do exercises. And I guess it tightens the vaginal muscles. And so it was her and Shamia. And I thought it was so interesting that they went to do this demonstration, but I think they both had on dresses. So they weren't dressed appropriately for, getting down on the ground and squatting and all this stuff that they were doing. And so Sheree shows up, but, of course, she's like at the end of the demonstration and she's like, well, what are y'all doing? And then when the lady explains to her what it is, she's like, oh, no, I can't participate because I'm on my cycle. I'm just like, Sheree, come on now. Was that really necessary? Just say, I think I'll pass. And so, it didn't stop, with Sheree being messy. So after the little demonstration thing is over with, Sheree, Portia, and Shamia are standing outside talking. Then out of the blue, Sheree brings up, what Kandi said about Phaedra, and how she was already dating someone before Apollo went to jail and she got her divorce. And so we learned that after Phaedra and Kandi had lunch, that Kandi, for some reason, felt the need to call Sheree, of all people, and tell her, everything that was said and what happened. And I just don't understand why she did that. Are Kandi and Sheree like close friends like that she would have to call and fill her in? Y'all help me understand here. And so then Portia's friend Shamia, she decides to throw in that, she believes it because Phaedra tried to hit on her husband a couple of years ago. And so I was standing there like, Portia, please don't get caught up in this mess. Shut it down. Don't let them talk about your homegirl like that. So moving on to Candy's house, and it's Riley's birthday. And so it's Riley, Todd, Kandi, Mama Joyce, little baby Ace, and then Kayla, Todd's daughter, walks in later. And so, they have a birthday cake and, they're singing happy birthday to Riley, and Kandi gives her the gift that she had bought her from the jewelry store. And so first it was a pair of earrings, and Riley looked at it and she's like, oh, this is cute. Then Kandi gave her a necklace and she's like, oh, I like this. But I'm telling you, Kandi said she spent $5,000 on those gifts, but Riley didn't seem interested at all. And, and I guess that's part of being 14. You're not into, diamond studs and necklaces. That doesn't impress you. She probably wanted some money, the new iPhone 7 and whatever, little gadgets are out there. Kandi, that's probably what she was looking for. So Riley tells them, that her dad wants to meet with her, and she says that she'll go if Kandi goes with her. But then Kandi says, no, I think you should go alone. And so I think this was the point when Kayla walked in and Todd asked her, saying, well, I came into your life, when you were like a teen or almost a teen, so what's your perspective? What do you think Riley should do? And so Kayla says that she believes that Kandi, the first time that that Riley and Block meet, that Kandi should go with her. And so then Todd says, well, he can understand that. And he says, well, at the end of the day, Riley, you have to do what you feel most comfortable about. And then here comes Mama Joyce. She got to put her 2 cents in. And she says that, she doesn't think that Riley should go meet with Block at all. But if she does, she'll be willing to chaperone and go along. And I'm thinking, Mama Joyce, for what? So you can get out there and say you owe $50,000 in back child support, and you can write that check out to me, because we know that that's the only thing that you are concerned about. So then next we have Portia, Phaedra, and Sheree, and they meet for lunch. And so Portia is telling Phaedra about, the Yanni class and about the egg and what you do with it. And so Phaedra's just like making all these faces like, girl, I prefer my eggs with grits and bacon. No, I'm not doing all that with the egg. And Portia brings up, what Sheree said about Kandi and what was said before she arrived at Cynthia's breast party. And so then things get real crazy when they mention Shamia, because Phaedra says that Kandi and Shamia are like licking coochies or something. And I'm just like, no. I don't want to hear this. I don't even want that visual. I don't want the visual at all. And I swear I almost hit the floor. And I went on to Twitter, and the memes and the little gifs that was going on, when that happened. I think everybody was shocked when that little revelation came out. And, so then I couldn't help but think, all this time that Phaedra, she's been trying to take the high roll, and then, she starts kind of like slipping into the gossip mode, dropping her little tea on Kandi. And I'm thinking, no, Phaedra, you got to remember what the Obamas said. They say when they go low, you go high. So come on, sis, let's keep it high, and let's don't do this tit for tat thing here. So then we go on to Cynthia, and so she's at the house with her sister Mal and her mom and Noelle, and so she's showing them around the house, and she says that her townhouse is already sold, which I thought was kind of quick, but anyway. So she says in her confessional that while Kenya and Sheree are arguing over manors and chateaus, that she actually has a lake in her backyard. Now, I agree with you, Cynthia. I would take your house over both of their houses, because I love your house, and I love just the peacefulness and the tranquility, of being out there on that lake. And so Noelle brings them some champagne, and when she goes back into the house, Cynthia tells Mal and her mom that Noelle hung out with Peter, and she seems to be, Cynthia seems to be in a real happy place right now, and so they toast to her new beginnings and her rebirth. So after we leave the scene with Cynthia and her family, we find out that Portia has called a meeting. And so she wants to meet with Sheree and Kandi to address what's being said about Phaedra. And so I don't know why Sheree kicks off the meeting, but then she starts talking about, what Kandi said about Portia and Block used to date, which I thought was so random and had absolutely nothing to do with why Portia wanted them to be there. But, Candy's all in her feeling, and still, she declares that Portia and Block, they did actually sleep together regardless of how short-lived their relationship was. And I'm like, how do you know that Portia and Block slept together, and why do you even care, Kandi? And so, they finally get on to the real topic. And so Kandi, she's over the top at this point, and she's all loud and emotional, with the finger and the neck and everything. And so I'm just wondering, what is Candy's real problem? And I'm starting to think that maybe it was Kandi and Phaedra that was bumping coochies instead of Kandi and Shamia, because Candy's acting like her and Phaedra were dating, and they broke up, and she took all the CDs or something. So she's just doing too much. And I don't know if Andy is pushing her to do this, or because she's really coming off authentic, like she really is hurt, and that she really, wants to seek revenge against Phaedra. So like I said, hopefully eventually it'll come out, what she is really mad about. And I think she did mention to, I think it was when they were meeting, and she was saying how Portia, tries to act like Phaedra's so innocent, but that Phaedra, has said things, and then she brings up about, about the Todd thing and Todd not having money. And so she keeps bringing that up, and so I just can't believe that she's that angry about the whole Todd and her paying Todd an allowance. I just can't believe that that is the source of her anger at this point, because she's just doing, like I said, way too much. So Portia, in response to Kandi, she's saying that, whether you're still friends with somebody or the friendship is over, that, things that are shared that, so she's saying that things that were shared between the two friends at that moment should always stay between those two friends. And that, it doesn't matter what happened down the road, that Kandi, shouldn't be sharing things that were said in confidence. And so, Kandi replied back that, Portia, I don't know why you're acting like this, because that Phaedra, was doing this and doing that, and you were the one that actually took the picture. And so then it goes back to, I think when Apollo was telling Peter that Phaedra was cheating with somebody named Chocolate, and he showed Peter the picture. So now Kandi is saying that it was actually Portia that took the picture. And, so Kandi wants to say that, Portia is either dumb or she's covering up for Phaedra. And I'm thinking, no, honey, Portia is playing dumb, because she ain't trying to be childish with you. She's not trying to wallow in the sand with you. So she's just going to sit there and, let you run your mouth and let you talk and say whatever it is you're going to say. And I really appreciate the fact, that Portia is, going high at this moment and not sinking down with them. And I think she's being a true friend to Phaedra, and we can only pray that it continues and that she keeps up the role that she's playing, actually playing on Phaedra's behalf. And so I can't even remember if this was the end of the show or not. Anywho, do you believe that Portia is right in defending Phaedra and not joining in with the gossip? And what do you think of Sheree sitting there, stirring the pot and getting all the goodies, so she can go back and run and tell somebody else about it and just keep the drama going? Like, is that her role on the show? Like, is that all she has going on? So let's get the conversation started. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until next time, love and blessings, and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.